going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony with the Wrenched Out Garage. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as you can see, we have an intake right here for our Chevy Silverado. We're going to talk you through that, show you guys what comes in it, do a quick install, and let's just dive into it. I'm Anthony. This is the Wrenched Out Garage. So we finally landed on an intake for our 2018 Silverado project truck, and we went back to K&N. So obviously we have had several intakes. You've seen them here on the Wrenched Out Garage. We've also had others that you guys have not seen, but K&N to me and to us here is the tried and true. Now, we did love the AFE. Unfortunately, I couldn't get one for the price point I was going for, so we landed on this guy. So this is the K&N 713082 45.3 liter, and it is the Blackhawk edition. Now, I had this similar intake on the Camaro, the 2017 Camaro SS, and I absolutely loved it simply because it's simple, it looks great, and it performed very well. So let's dive into what's inside the box. I did pop it open just to take a quick look, and we're going to do a little bit of pre-arranging anyways while we're here at the workbench, and then we'll put it on the Silverado. It is dark outside, it's been rainy, it's been windy, so we'll see how that portion of it comes out. So first things first, we do have directions. It does have the carb ID number. That's actually one of the nicer plaques I've seen right there. Simple directions. It also, I believe, has your dyno information. We've got the seal. We've got the black hardware, which is another one of my favorite parts of this kit because it's completely blacked out. To me, this pretty much gives a pretty close representation of what, in my mind, a stock performance intake should look like. The exception of these damn hoses, they've always used these like fuel line. They need to do something cooler with these, like some nice silicone or something. I don't know. This just that looks clunky to me. Let's see. And we've got a couple of our connectors. This nice connectors. Let's keep going in the box. Got another one. All right. Got that guy. It's for your air box. Now we're getting into the good. A couple of pieces left. The kind of the crown jewel, at least for me with this, is this guy right here. This kit is made in the USA. At least it says it is. So there's the main tube right there. I do like how this looks. It's super clean. At least in my opinion, this is one of the cleaner looking intakes. When you pop the hood, you take a look at it, it looks like it should be there. It doesn't look kind of goofy and crazy, especially in the case of this. Oops. All right. So we only got a couple of pieces left. We've got the box right here. Should sit just like that. That seal is going to run along the top. These are going to go in your factory locations. We'll put this down over here. And then I think all we've got left is the filter. And then one thing I always do is I know that's really loud. One thing I always do is throw the factory air box in these boxes so I know where it is and what's going on. So again, this is the parts right here. Let me show you the filter. This is the dry filter. Or should be the dry filter. And obviously, the cool part with K&N is if you have like the 63 series or one of the other series, you can always switch over to this. This is RU3101HBK. That's the part number on this. If you wanted to switch over to it, obviously that's at your discretion. And some other flyers in here. Put that box down. So there's the filter itself. And I like how this looks. Again, it's all blacked out. There it is. black hose clamp. So this thing actually does look oiled. We'll see. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull all the stuff out. I've done an intake on the 5.3 before when I had my 2014. We're gonna get all of our stuff pulled out. I suggest doing this pretty much with anything that you do, if you can. Obviously, there's more elaborate projects than this. This is probably one of the simplest, but I always prefer to get my hardware lined out. In this case, we've got a bunch of these, all of this stuff right here. All right. Get everything kind of lined up. That way, when you go to install, you're simply going to take apart the old, pop in the new, and everything's good to go. Now, one thing to say is taking out the old, especially on like this truck and many other trucks, it's super simple. Should only take you a few minutes. So with all K&N, at least for now, you do have, let's see if I can get that to sit there. You do need to get this on there, and then you're going to cut it. Now I'm assuming this is without me looking at the directions, of course, because who needs directions? Just go ahead and look at it anyways, because I'm pretty sure I can just throw this thing together because it's pretty simple. But we'll look at it anyways. So it does say, congratulations. Oh, it looks like K&N is now making a throttle control module. Let's see what else is in here. I was actually looking at, they do have home filters now. And the cabin filters. I am more than likely going to be getting a cabin filter from them for the truck, because if you do the math on those and you change them twice a year, generally I try to change them twice a year. So spring and fall. Okay, so here's kind of the breakdown of this right here. That's what we're going to be doing. A lot of hose clamps. Okay. Do not return this product, so you're going to contact K&N directly. Horsepower guaranteed. So what it says here, 2014 6.2. So apparently it's the same one. Gained 9.05 horsepower, which is not a lot of horsepower, especially given the cost of it. But I'm going to see and hope that when I switched over to the cold air intake on the Ram Rebel, I ended up saving quite a bit of fuel and all of that stuff once I started driving. So I'm hoping that will do the same here. So we'll obviously have to see how that goes. So this is going to go just like that. We're going to wrap this, and I generally have to cut it. All right. So obviously I'm going to have to cut this one. We got that much left. Should look like that, nice and tight. You just want to make sure to shove it in as far as you can. All right. And then there is metal in this, so keep that in mind. I've got some shears over here. All right. So there we go. Trimmed. Looks pretty darn good. Okay. Next thing is this guy. And again, I just like getting this thing as far along as I possibly can. I'm using Allen key for this. Grab an Allen. There we go. And again, so the reason I do this is it ends up saving a lot of time for the install, and it'll only take you a couple of minutes because you got to put a couple of the fittings on. I got to put these mounts right here in, and I know from past installs that it's either take it all apart and then screw with it when the intake is sitting off the car or truck in this case. And instead, I would much rather just do as much as I can over here on the bench, because then it cuts the install. Because really, once this is all put together, it should only take you a couple of minutes to install it. So that's good. And then the next piece, your mass airflow sensor goes right there, obviously. And then we've got these two fittings right here, right across from each other, which is where these guys go. These are identical. And I'll probably see if I can get a little bit of pipe dope. Grab that right here. Or actually, you grab a little bit of this. That's just to ensure it's just air, so I'm not overly concerned. We'll thread these guys in. Because again, all of that stuff is gonna come off of the old. So you're not gonna have any of these hoses or any of that stuff. In fact, you get rid of quite a bit of bulk pieces that are under that hood with the factory intake, which I get it. And just like anything, it has to do with emissions and carb compliant and all of that stuff. But it is kind of crazy to think that just like your exhaust, if you look at your stock exhaust, how much space and how many mufflers and catalytic converters and all of that stuff is on there. It's pretty wild. Oops. It's a pretty wild situation, but it's all broken down. There's some kind of mathematic equation with how many versus the cubic inches of your motor versus air, and then your exhaust and all of that stuff. All right, so let me throw this over here. Get a mess with that. You do got to be careful with these, because I've had issues with them, and I know other people that have. For this intake and any other ones, especially when you go to thread them in, is snapping them off, which does you obviously no good if you snap them off, but it's also a pain in the butt, because then it doesn't really work very well, and you'll have to glue it. I had one years ago that I snapped off, and it ended up epoxying it, which wasn't that great of a deal. It worked. I ended up snapping it right there. I did an interior epoxy on it. So essentially, there it is right there. These are good to go. Got the mass airflow sensor. You do have the two bolts right here. Let me just barely thread those in. Grab a Allen key for that, because really all that we're going to need is a flathead and the Allen keys for this. There we go. So move all this stuff out of the way. That pretty much wraps up the parts and everything that we've got for it. So we're gonna try to turn and look at the truck. Now it is dark outside, so we'll see kind of what that looks like for you guys. So let's get to the truck. All right guys, so we're at the truck. It's still dark here, obviously, but I'm gonna do my best to kind of show you. I did a quick clip with the GoPro to kind of show you what we're doing. You've got your two air hoses on both sides. We're gonna end up taking this out, the air box out, and then the mass airflow sensor. The easiest way to do that, at least as far as I'm concerned, is we're gonna pop the mass airflow sensor out first. So figure out how to, there we go. You just pull it back. It's a little red clip right here. there's the mass airflow sensor connector. I always pop this off. I know it's, let me turn the camera a little bit. I always pop that off first, because then you can just install it on the bench in the same position. All right, there's a hose clamp right here at the neck to the box. There is two of the antifreeze, the front and rear connectors run over it right here. There's two hoses, so you're gonna want to just be aware of that. And then again, you have these hose clamps in the back. You're gonna have to disconnect. So here's the box right here. So there it is. That's where those two connectors went, right there on the rear. Again, you just push the clip in, pop it out, just two hose clamps. There's the stock box. And I know you can't see them, but they're right off the valve covers. And this is what I was talking about. So you've got two sides here, right here. Push this in and it releases. It's a quick release. One on each side. Get your breathers. And you'll hear them pop. There's the other side. Okay, now it's time to get the air box out. I believe box is in there pretty good. These are Phillips, or it does have the flathead mark. So the corner of this mass airflow sensor is zip tied to the box. So we're just going to cut the zip tie, which is kind of a weird design. Put it, pop it out of the way. So there it is. So we're going to take this off and then put it obviously on the new tube. Got your stock air filter right there. It's not too dirty. It's a hell of an air filter though. Then we've got inside of the box, which I believe is just a pop-in box. And there's that one. Yep. So there it is. There's the bottom of it right here. Okay. So let's grab the new box. All right, so the base of this, there's 3 factory bolts that are sitting in the tray that the lower plate was sitting on. That's how this is going to mount in. So I'm going to grab those. Grab the stuff for that. Okay. We'll get the hoses. Throw the hoses on. Put this out of the way. These just slide right on. Just like that. Okay, so mass air sensor is installed. Really, we're just gonna insert both of these guys. This guy, let me put him on over here. Just like that. So we got both of them ready to go. Tube goes in. Tube goes in. Okay, so everything is tightened up. Grab the GoPro, show you guys kind of what it looks like the best I can. I know it's still dark. We'll do another review video afterward, but do that, fire it up. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps it up. I know this wasn't the best of maybe install videos or what have you, but this is one of many options that you can do to your vehicle. Intake is obviously something that a lot of guys do to their trucks. I'll put a link to this and a couple of the other intakes that I've done installs on and that I suggest doing. Super simple install here. I think it looks great. It definitely opens the engine bay up a lot, but I do like the complete blacked out look. It's in there secured, looks pretty good, and I think we're happy with this install. So again, this is the K&N Blackhawk edition for our 2018 Chevy Silverado. I'm Anthony, this is the Wrench Out Garage. Thank you guys for tuning in, and don't forget, hit subscribe if you guys have not done that yet. We've got a lot of great videos for the Silverado, the Razor, project vehicles here at the Wrench Out Garage. Until next time, guys, if you're out riding or driving, do it safely. We'll see you in the next video.